Have you ever noticed that the divine masculine disappears, and only comes back when you've finally grown stronger within? As if he can sense, from afar, that something inside you has shifted, and then, he returns. If this has ever happened to you, this video is your calling. Today, we're going to uncover the mystery behind this spiritual return, why it only happens when the divine feminine awakens, and how this transforms your soul, your balance, and the entire twin flame journey. You'll discover the invisible signs of this cycle, understand why none of this is a coincidence, and learn how to prepare your heart for a reunion that goes far beyond the physical. It's a reunion with your true self. And now, tell me, have you ever lived through this cycle of separation and return? Share your story in the comments. Let's turn this waiting into wisdom, clarity, and spiritual power. 1. The spiritual calling of the feminine soul. The reunion of twin flames doesn't happen in a random meeting out there in the physical world, but rather within each soul, especially through the awakening of the feminine. It's in this inner movement, this search for healing the deepest wounds, that the true spiritual journey begins. Imagine an old house, full of dust and cracks. Only after a thorough cleaning and some repairs does it become livable and welcoming, right? The same goes for the feminine soul. It needs to reconnect with its essence so that the twin flame cycle can truly begin. Often, this awakening is accompanied by intense inner challenges, like a storm shaking the very roots. Old pains, unresolved traumas, and deeply rooted fears rise to the surface, and they must be seen and embraced so that the spiritual masculine energy can recognize the call and respond. This is a path of self-awareness and self-love, where the feminine learns to recognize her worth without depending on the immediate return of the divine masculine, because, believe it or not, the journey begins long before the physical reunion. A practical example for those who feel this inner longing is to invest in practices that promote healing and reconnection. Heart chakra-focused meditations, therapies that help release repressed emotions, and transformative readings, such as Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, are powerful paths to strengthen spiritual feminine energy. It's precisely this solid foundation that prepares the ground for the balance between the masculine and the feminine, something essential for the twin flame dynamic. 2. Divine Masculine, the guardian of spiritual manifestation. The divine masculine holds an essential, yet often misunderstood, role. He is not the hero who comes to save or fix everything, but rather the channel through which spiritual energy is manifested in the physical world. Think of him as the engine that drives creation, directly connected to the root and solar plexus chakras, centers of strength, purpose, and direction. He is the force that grounds action, helping to transform dreams and intentions into tangible reality. This spiritual masculine energy is, therefore, a balanced and powerful force that cannot be ignored or underestimated. When aligned, it brings clarity and stability, allowing the feminine to express her intuition and sensitivity in a safe, grounded space. To truly feel this energy, it's important to tune into your own inner strength, cultivating habits that reinforce the balance of body and mind, such as grounding physical practices like yoga, martial arts, or even mindful walks in nature. It's important to understand that this masculine manifestation doesn't occur in isolation. It's always a dance with the feminine, an exchange of energies that creates synergy. That's why recognizing the role of the divine masculine as the guardian of manifestation helps us understand that the spiritual reunion of twin flames goes far beyond will or emotion. It involves a deep energetic and spiritual alignment that unfolds through daily life. 3. Why the masculine pulls away, and why he always returns. It's common to observe a cycle that feels like a constant push and pull. The masculine withdraws, but inevitably returns. This dance isn't random or based on whims, it's a deep energetic response. When the feminine energy is centered, healed, and vibrating in balance, the divine masculine feels that call. He steps back to honor the feminine's healing space, but his return comes as a recognition of her inner growth. Imagine a plant that needs room to bloom. If you try to hold it too tightly or force it to grow too quickly, it wilts. The masculine behaves similarly. His distance isn't abandonment, but rather an act of respect and a need for internal realignment. This cycle may feel painful, but it's actually a sign of the real connection between twin flames, a spiritual initiation and a test of emotional maturity on both sides. In practice, this means the feminine must cultivate patience and self-trust, understanding that the return of the divine masculine is not a reward for persistence, but an invitation to co-create from a place of balanced energies. This awareness transforms the waiting into a sacred time of preparation, not a space of lack or desperation. After all, true energy attracts, it doesn't chase. 4. The illusion of waiting, the energy that attracts without chasing. Waiting for the return of the divine masculine can become an emotional trap, a cycle that holds the feminine soul in uncertainty and drains her spirit. True magnetism, however, doesn't come from sitting still and hoping something will happen, but from the high vibration that is born from authenticity and self-love. It's like the light of a candle, by simply shining on its own, it naturally draws in what is meant to come closer. This kind of attractive energy is built when the feminine chooses to invest in herself, cultivating habits that raise her frequency. It could be a self-discovery course, a daily gratitude ritual, or even the free expression of her essence through dance. These practices act as subtle magnets, generating synchronicities and strengthening the spiritual reunion with the divine masculine, without the need to chase or pressure. Moreover, this attitude brings a powerful sense of freedom. A feminine who loves herself first becomes a magnetic force that the spiritual masculine can recognize from afar. It is precisely this balance between non-attachment and presence that opens the path to a true reunion, an invitation to look inward and realize that the universe's timing is wise, and not necessarily aligned with our emotional stopwatch. 5. Union begins within, integrating the feminine and masculine within yourself. When the feminine flame realizes that true union begins within, she stops seeking outside what she can already find inside herself. This integration is the key to creating the energetic space where the twin flame reunion becomes possible. It's like a garden that must be nurtured and cared for in order for the flowers to bloom. Only after nourishing her own roots will the feminine be ready to blossom in the presence of the divine masculine. This inner journey involves recognizing and harmonizing the masculine and feminine energies within, creating a true balance that reflects outward into the world. A simple exercise to begin this is to observe moments of action and stillness, strength and sensitivity, and learn to honor both without judgment. In daily life, this might mean accepting that determination is just as necessary as vulnerability, and that both are essential parts of your being. By integrating these internal polarities, the feminine gains clarity and power to engage in relationships in a healthy way, setting boundaries and surrendering with trust. This process makes the spiritual reunion feel natural and fluid, not as something dependent on the other person to fill a void, but as a result of the maturity born from the balance between the masculine and feminine within. 6. Synchronicities, dreams, and omens, the invisible return of the masculine. The return of the divine masculine often happens even before the physical reunion, on the subtle plane where energies communicate beyond time and space. Vivid dreams, unexpected synchronicities, and omens are ways through which the feminine flame begins to sense that the connection is active, even if he has not yet appeared. It's as if the universe whispers, sending signs that only an awakened soul can interpret. These clues can be simple, like hearing a song that touches your heart at just the right moment, receiving repeated messages with specific words, or even dreams filled with clear symbolism related to his presence. Recognizing these signs is an exercise in mindfulness and sensitivity, a way to keep the flame alive while the physical reunion has yet to happen, strengthening the invisible bond between souls. The awareness of these events also fuels spiritual awakening, as it invites the feminine to trust the process and realize that nothing happens by chance. It is an invitation to dive deeper into one's own journey, knowing that the divine masculine is preparing to return with renewed energy, ready to balance and co-create with the feminine. 7. The healing masculine, when he returns with a spiritual purpose. The true return of the divine masculine does not come from lack or fear, but from clarity, maturity, and a deep sense of spiritual mission. When he comes back, he is not running away from himself or his challenges, but ready to fully engage in the process of co-creating alongside the feminine, recognizing the importance of balance between masculine and feminine for the evolution of the twin flame. It is a return that brings peace, purpose, and genuine commitment. He is like a warrior who, after internal battles, finally finds the strength to act with wisdom and compassion. This healing masculine does not seek to control, but to support, protect, and be a steady presence without suffocating. This shift in attitude only happens when there is a genuine spiritual awakening, and he understands that the relationship is a path of mutual growth, where reunion is the starting point for a greater mission. To recognize this kind of return, the feminine can observe consistency in actions and respect for boundaries, as well as a willingness to face personal shadows. This renewed energy invites the building of an authentic partnership where both grow stronger, where the divine masculine ceases to be an energy of escape and becomes a guardian of the shared spiritual path. 8. The feminine surrender, the power of trusting divine timing. The feminine who understands the importance of surrender knows that trusting divine timing is one of the greatest acts of wisdom and self-love. She learns to release control and allow the universe to guide the journey, realizing that the unfolding of the spiritual reunion happens at the right moment, often not the one her impatient mind desires. This surrender is like letting the river flow freely, without trying to hold it back. What comes to her flows naturally and with purpose. This surrender doesn't mean passivity, but rather an active trust that keeps the feminine aligned with her essence and mission. By accepting that every phase has its purpose, she grows stronger and prepares herself for what is to come, nurturing her own inner growth while awaiting the return of the divine masculine. It's an attitude that transforms waiting into a time of growth and preparation. When this surrender truly happens, the feminine's energy becomes an irresistible invitation for the real reunion, as she radiates peace, clarity, and unconditional love. It is from this place of trust and balance between masculine and feminine that the twin flame can manifest in all its fullness, a process that honors the timing and purpose of each soul. Now that you understand the true mystery of the divine masculine and why he always returns when you are spiritually ready, how about putting all of this into practice? Have you ever thought about how your life could change by recognizing these signs and working on your inner balance? What steps will you take today to strengthen your feminine energy and prepare your heart for this long-awaited reunion? Share in the comments below, what has been the biggest challenge you've faced on this spiritual awakening journey? How do you handle the cycle of distancing and returning? Your experience can help others going through the same, and I'm really eager to read your stories. Let's build this supportive and growing community together. If you want to keep exploring this transformative universe, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any content that will help you balance your spiritual masculine energy, awaken your twin flame, and live this spiritual reunion with fullness and purpose. Let's keep walking this path together. See you in the next video.